Hi, I'm Scott Humphries from Caliva Process Solutions, and today we're going to be talking about the multiple addition test on the Mixer Torque Rheometer. Quite often when working with formulation development, it's a process of elimination to establish the correct amount of liquid binder to add to facilitate correct extrusion and spheronization, and can often waste a lot of time and precious materials. So this is where the multiple addition test comes in. The resulting data gives us an optimum start point for successful extrusion and spheronization. Okay, so to start our multiple addition we need to create a method. So we look at the menu here and create a method. Select multiple addition, and then we've got a list of methods that have been previously used. When we call up that, it's asked us to create a new name because we're obviously creating a new method. We then get the opportunity to add other data like a description of the method, what material we're using, batch codes, lab reference numbers, the speed of the motor, how long to measure the empty bowl, how much sample we're going to put in. We've got 15 grams there, and then it mixes for 30 seconds and logs the torque for 30 seconds. Then we're adding 1 milliliter of liquid binder, mixing for 30 seconds and logging for 30 seconds. And then you click Add Row to add all of your cycles. So you'll see on this one that we've got 24 cycles there, which is a little bit too much, but we'll leave it at 23. Then we create our method. There we go, so we've created our new method. So to use our new method, we go to View Method, select Multiple Addition, and our new method will appear at the bottom of the list. So select that one and continue, and the data we just entered is all now populated in there. So now we can start our experiment. So we give the experiment a name, and the material or batch code information is brought forward from the method. We can name our operator so we can search for results by operator, and we can put a little description in here if there's anything specific you want to make a note of. So we're now ready to start. So we click on Start Experiment, and then the machine prompts us to measure the empty bowl. So the machine now starts logging a trace. You can see the blue line there. Now what we're doing here is setting our 0 point. So it's running the mixing bowl completely empty, so it's taking into account any friction that there is there and setting that as the control. This gets rid of any need for additional calibration, as the machine kind of calibrates itself every time you start an experiment. So once that's been done, we're now prompted to load a sample of 15 grams. So we remove the safety cover and take the lid off the mixer, and then add our dry powder sample into the mixer bowl. Replace the lid and the safety cover, and we add our binder addition pipette. Now we tell the machine OK, we've loaded the sample, and it will now mix the dry powders for 30 seconds and then log the torque reading on the mixer bowl for 30 seconds. As we add the binder in 1 milliliter doses, you can see on this video that the torque reaction there increases. You can also alter the scale on the side according to the amount of torque you've got reading. So we reduce it here, and you can see that the torque's building up as the binder increases. We will run the experiment through the 25 steps. You can see there that the torque is now reduced because we've effectively created a slurry. So the experiment's complete and the machine tells us that it's successful. So we click on continue and save the data. So then we can go and look at our results. Now we can look at individual experiments, or we can compare one or more results on the same graph. So we'll go to an individual experiment first by type. So we select multiple addition, and then by today's date, and we can look for the experiment we've just done. There's number 4, and click get results, and then we get a graph produced of the torque reading over the course of the experiment there. Okay, so you can see our trace here from the individual multiple addition experiment, and you can see the first peak there. So what we say as a rule is for the best results with extrusion and spheronization, we'd look at 80% of that peak. So looking at that graph there, we're looking at just over 0.6 of a milliliter per gram would be the optimum ratio. That's for extrusion and spheronization. Now for tableting, you'd be looking at around 40% of the peak there. So you can read it off of the graph, or you can switch over to the actual table, and then you can see on the table what the actual torque readings were, and obviously calculate 80% or 40% of those for a more accurate result. And then that works as well if you're doing a kilo, 10 kilos, 100 kilos of the material. The ratio of binder to dry powder will stay the same as you scale up, so it gives you a really good starting position. Now we can create a report from this. It can be exported in Excel, raw data, but we're going to do a PDF here. So I select the PDF printer and then print the report. We're prompted to save it. So I'll just save this one on the desktop. We give it a name. And now we create our PDF. So you've got the date and time that the experiment was conducted, and then you've got your header information here. So any of the batch information, materials, anything like that that you put in when we created the method on that first page is summarized there. And now the actual operations individually of the method are summarized in this table here. So you can see all the different sections of that experiment we've just done. You then get the graph. So we've got a pictorial version there, and then underneath the graph we've got the table with the binder ratio and the actual torque measurement at any of those given ratios. So I mentioned before we can compare the results of a number of experiments. So we'll have a look at a number of multiple addition experiments we've done here. So again, we select today's date, we filter the experiments, and you can see that we've got a few there that we've conducted today. So we'll add the ones we want to compare into the box at the side, like so, and then click Get Results. Now this time we'll just get the chart, and you can see there that there's 3 traces of the 1, 3 and 4 that we did. They're all very similar shapes, so we can read off the data there and see whether there's a consistency between the experiments. We can then print that report again, the same as we did with the other one, and we'll get a PDF created, which then plots that graph out into a document, like so. We hope you found this video interesting and informative. For more information, please visit caliva.com. If you have any specific questions, please feel free to email us on info@caliva.com. Thank you.